Oh, man.
I don't know if I got the air horn in me, boss.
It's a Trump. It's a sad Trump.
That's right, yeah.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge.
Hey, fuck me, fuck you, fuck all of us. Let's go.
There it is. Wow.
All right, Eric. And this has been demonetized.
Well,
All right.
yeah, exactly. We're going to have to apologize to every child. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's
not me.
top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up. I've got Brendan Vogt with me.
Man, the only thing worse than that is we've got a pump pock mail cover of Kelly Clarkson since you've been gone.
Oh, my God. You know what? That is what it is. You know, I didn't even think about what it was.
It's
a
the worst thing
cacophony of pop punk, but you're right. It's Kelly Clarkson cover. Wow. We have reached an all-time low. I can't believe it. Over here I got D-line.
What's up, guys? Did you guys catch that game?
We're going to talk about it. There's honestly, like, this is what I hate. There's actually a lot to talk about. I kind of wish there wasn't. We could just kind of like this or that, but I got notes. Over here, I got Superstar Dev.
The worst thing about that game is reliving it through words that we have to actually talk about after.
Let's do it for an hour.
Let's do it, baby.
We don't need words. We could just make sounds. Do you just want to, like, what's a sound you would make to describe this game? Mine would be like,
where's Hank with his boat horn?
Honk! A honk? Man, the honk's not that bad. Not as bad as this game was. Nuggets get absolutely blown out. What's funny is, you look at all funny. Using funny liberally here. Nuggets lost game 1, 123-107. They lose tonight, 126-106. Neither game really told the full story. Almost the exact same score and almost the exact same feeling of it wasn't that close. They lost by 20. Yeah, felt like more like 70. It felt like more like maybe 80.
No, we can play the fun game of did the Nuggets melt down or was that just the death lineup again?
Well, first, yes and yes, though. Sadly,
it's both.
This game was demonstrably worse than the first game for me for a lot of reasons, which we're going to. Do you guys want to do the speedy recap?
Boy, do we.
Should we go through it now?
Like an exquisitely speedy recap.
Well, I honestly don't have notes past the start of the fourth quarter here, but let's go. You guys remember the good old days of the first quarter? My first note here, Jokic in killer mode.
Hell yeah.
So you guys forget there was a good part of this game. Jokic was absolutely aggressive, taking it to the Warriors. I mean, the funny thing is, Jokic killing Kevon Looney. Doing a great job against the Kevon Looney lineups. Really, really having an effect there. Aaron Gordon struggled, though. Like, he was on the struggle bus from the beginning. And you know what's funny is he came out in this game, I thought, with a pep in his step of, like, he knew this was hey, I got to show him what I can do tonight. And he did the opposite, or maybe he did show what he can't do. Nuggets survived Jokic for small ball first time around. You thought, hell yeah. What happened? They went small. They take Kevon Looney out. Jokic still in there. Nuggets still rolling. You think, okay, here we go. Bench came in, kind of sucked. There was a tough call, a no call on Jokic. Gary Payton, remember, had that block shot on him. Jokic very frustrated by that. It went from a layup where Denver was up like 12, from a layup that maybe puts them up 12 or up 14, goes the other way, and Porter hits a three. Huge swing both in points, but I thought also emotionally. To me, if you could pinpoint one moment where the game sort of turned, it was that play, the Gary Payton block. Because then Gary Payton's talking shit to him. Yep. He's talking shit to him, and he pats him on the ass on the way out. Guess what? Welcome to the goddamn playoffs. Welcome to the big leagues. You're playing against a good team that's going to talk shit to you. How do you handle it? This is the biggest frustration with this game. The game turned with Gary Payton talking shit to Joker. From that point, the wheels started to come off. Bench lineup back and forth a little bit. Rivers went out with a back injury, which was like, you start to look at, like, what's the guard depth right now if Austin Rivers is hurt with a back injury. You start to, everything flashes before your eyes. Bench was rolling, and Michael Malone rolled with that bench lineup for a long time. Definitely going to talk about that as well. Jokic did not come back into the 6-minute mark. Nuggets were up 8. Monte got beat on a backdoor cut and then gets a tech for throwing the ball into the stanchion. You're up 8. All of a sudden, now you're only up 5. And on top of that, Chase Center, which was pretty quiet up until this point, erupted, and guess what? It was a haymaker after haymaker for basically the rest of the game from that point on. Total momentum shift. Warriors went on a run, took the lead, never looked back. Jokic in the third quarter picked up a second and third foul right away. Again, I think a little bit of frustration, starting to do some things that weren't super smart. The Warriors are blowing them out. Only notes I have left. After the third quarter, like, I didn't even tell how they blew out, just that they blew them out because it happened so fast. I couldn't take I was typing. Couldn't type fast enough. 85 minutes per second, or what is it? Words per minute That's my speed. Incredible speed. Couldn't keep up with all the haymakers that were being
I'd like
thrown.
to see this. I'd like
It was
to get
really
you on
good.
Mavis Beacon. I
It
want
was
to see
really
the
good.
stats.
Just like that. Just like that. And then, oh man, if it was worse, now like the bar is singing these pop punk cover
Yeah,
bands.
dude,
Like,
the bar is.
they're feeling it.
No one's more in the tank than the bar. They've lost all sense.
Oh my god.
They don't know up from down.
I'm like punch drunk right now. You know, like I'm like so beat up that I feel like loopy and silly. Let me get to these notes. Barton and DeMarcus Cousins start arguing on the bench. Nuggets down 20. Vibes are terrible. Chase Center going crazy. Warriors clowning. Warriors not. I mean, this is what they do.
Yeah.
You can't even be mad at them. The Warriors are. What they do is when they start getting a team down, they start talking shit. They start dancing. They start doing all stuff, pointing and everything else. And if you're a weak team, you start to break even more, and then it just piles it on more. That's why they're not doing it. They're doing it because they're having fun, but they're also doing it because they're like testing your metal. Denver's metal got tested tonight. Failed the metal test.
Their metal melted.
Their metal melted, and then of course Jokic comes back into the game. I didn't even know if he would come back in. The game was so out of place, but they put him back in, and he gets
Took himself
ejected.
right out.
He took himself right out. I mean, look, the play that he got ejected on, I don't think was a foul. Maybe it was. It's like a 20% foul, like
it
a
was
little
a
bit of foul. It was a little bit of a foul, but I'm just saying, like,
That's accumulation, though.
it's accumulation, but it's also frustration. And let me tell you something. Who do you think feels the best about that ejection right now? The guy waving to him as he gets off after pretty much dominating that matchup through 2 games. Draymond Green, waving, smiling. He knows. What is he there to do? Shut Jokic down, get him so frustrated that he takes himself out. Didn't even take the game 3 or 4. Jokic gets ejected. We're going to talk all about this. But I'll start over here, Vogt. What's your main takeaway from this game?
They don't have their guys, but I'll move past that one. We can talk about everyone else stepping up or not stepping up, and they're not doing it. But it is also Jokic so far. If Jokic cannot punish the Draymond Green minutes, and they should be reluctant to go small ball for too long because they're too small. But it's not just that death lineup. Anytime it's just Draymond and Jokic straight up, regardless of who's on the floor, Jokic has to be able to dominate those minutes. That's supposed to be Denver's strength. And right now he isn't. Now, there are a lot of fouls. I don't love the officiating.
Right.
Like, Jokic getting clobber. I do.
They're allowing it. I mean, it's funny because to start this game, they called a couple like tic-tac fouls on Looney and stuff like that. And it was almost like first 3 minutes of the game, they're like, there, we're even. We gave you a couple little fouls. And it's like, come on, man.
So I get it. And like blaming him feels, it's just not, even if he's the first name I bring up, it's not the word I would use. But here's just the reality. If they have any chance of winning a game, he's got to be the best player on the floor. And this was the second game in a row where he wasn't.
He definitively was not the best player. You're right. Like if Yoke's not here, Nuggets lose by 70 points. It's literally they'll set records. Like nobody's saying what you're saying, and you're right. The chat sometimes
his shoulders.
People can lack the nuance when you say this, but the idea is you're right. If they had any chance in the series, even if they didn't have a chance, even if they just were to keep it respectable, he was going to have to be the best player. And it's like just definitive that he has not been that so far. And it's a tough matchup. Eric, what's your takeaway?
Oh, man. What is my takeaway? The Nuggets found something that worked early on, which was punishing the Warriors in the paint. In the second quarter, Jokic had 2 shots, and they just kind of like turned away from what was working, and then they lost the handle so badly they couldn't ever get back. Then they were shooting threes, trying to shoot threes along with the Golden State Warriors. Not a great recipe for success. And then just, and then once the Warriors became the Warriors, I mean, like I put this on Twitter. I really think the Warriors are going to win it all. Like they look like the team that was in suspended animation for a year and a half, missing Klay Thompson. Now they've added Jordan Poole. Like it's unreal the amount of talent that they've accumulated over there. The amount of shooting is just like it's unheard of. And the Jokic and the Nuggets can win in only one way, and they just have to punish the paint over and over and over, and they're just not doing it.
I mean, the reason they're not, though, just to be fair, the reason they're punished the paint early on is, again, a more normal, like, Looney's a good defender. He's not great. Jokic murders him. But Draymond Green, it's that piece of it.
I agree, but they need to make their scheme about figuring out how to get more points in the paint, how to punish the fact that Draymond Green is selling out so hard on Jokic. Like they need to have guys that crash in or coming in, and Aaron Gordon needs to come in and from behind Draymond Green be able to come in and dunk it. Like Aaron Gordon was so bad tonight. It's insane. Like people are swirling, talking, he's hurt, he's blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, we're in full apology mode for Aaron Gordon at this point. Like, I cannot believe how little he contributed to the game.
Yeah. Dev, big takeaway.
My biggest takeaway is like complete like dominance, and that like starts with like coaching all the way to like the guys that they pick up on 10-day contracts. The Warriors and Denver are just like on two different like places on the spectrum, just opposite sides. It doesn't seem like Denver made any adjustments in game 2. So, like, you don't see anything there. Their star players are looking like star players, and they, like, play like a complete brand of basketball where everybody gets to, like, score when they want to and do what they want. On the bench, it's like the vibe list versus the vibe masters, and it's been that way for quite some time. And even, like, Boogie Cousins, like, trying to fight someone on the team. You don't see anything close to that. I don't even know if they ever show the Warriors bench ever.
Yeah,
like,
right.
it just seems like they just are under control at all times. And I think that's, like, the scariest part is it does not feel like the Warriors have been tested at any point. Even when they were down earlier in the game,
right.
You just knew that the lineup would change. Curry was going to come in. Looney was going to go out. There was never a point that I was like, okay, Denver really does have a chance in this game, and it's because they just are under control even when they're losing. Just a team that just understands how to play and how to be in these type of situations where Denver just looks like they have never been up.
Yeah. I mean, utter domination is right. That's what it is. I mean, we talked about, Steph Curry had a hobbled ankle, although he hasn't really looked like it. And and they hadn't played the minutes together. It was how quickly, maybe those first 2 games they're not going to look, right. They're not going to look like it. I mean, you have to be impressed with the fact that the Warriors were able to click into place like that quickly. I mean, we think about Jamal Murray missing this much time and coming back, and not just playing well himself, but like the team figuring out how to play with him, just like riding a bike, where it's back to the bubble level of Murray. Jokic synergy, and maybe we would see it. I don't know. I mean, we'll never know. Although he has not been ruled out for Game 3.
That's
what I hear.
Jamal Murray has not been ruled out for the year.
I can't wait to see some clips of him.
Still possibly comes back.
Clips.
Michael Porter has not been ruled out.
I can't wait to see some clips of them shooting some J's.
Yeah, just they look good and working out. But that hasn't been the case. The Warriors are clicking right into place. Everything's a test. Like, I always like thinking of sports not about the ultimate. I mean, obviously the championship is the piece. You're always building towards that. But in years like this, it's all about you versus yourself, or in this case, the Nuggets versus themselves, or Jokic versus himself. Like, how can you just get better and better and better? How can you build towards something? And I think the thing that stinks is the Nuggets, it was very impressive that they got to 48 or 49 wins, whatever it is they got to this year, heading there over. It was very impressive. But you watch a team play now and you think, what are they building towards? Did they build defensive habits that serve them here? Where, no, because you're still getting missed switches, miscommunicate on basic plays. You're running out to the corner and giving up wide open dunks, like those types of things. And that's the thing that sticks out to me right now is you look at this and you don't think Golden State is better than Denver. I thought that coming in. The chat, remember you guys, we did the first show and everybody was like, you guys are so pessimistic. And it's like, man, this was what I worried about, like this exact thing. But you thought, like, was Denver going to have that thing that they've built toward this year that's going to translate against every team, or this to have it, the physicality or defense or whatever, and it just hasn't. Like, none of that. It's kind of on full display. I do want to talk about Aaron Gordon, though, first.
Yeah.
7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, only 3 of 9 shooting. Just 25 minutes again. 25 minutes. Here's the crazy thing. 2 games in a row he hasn't played 30 minutes. And it's not like I've been like, put him back in. We got to get Gordon back in. It's like, he's kind of getting benched here. I mean, are you worried?
Yeah, of course I'm worried. Nah. Defensively, it is a tough matchup for him. But if he's going to be, what did he shoot, 3 of 9, you said?
Yeah.
Then he's got to be a stud defender. And he's not, I mean, he probably isn't the prototype for guys to guard Jordan Poole. But he certainly can't do it. Offensively, he hasn't found really any utility in this series. And Malone doesn't seem like he trusts him, and I get it. I mean, there is something to, our friend Ryan Blackburn's been tweeting a lot about the success they had against Golden State in the regular season with Aaron Gordon at the 4. Do we get to that Monte, Austin, Will, AG, Jokic lineup? Does that work out any better for him?
To me, it makes the most sense just when you talk about you got to have small players.
Yeah, so maybe that's an adjustment that helps AG. But 2 games, right? It's a solid F for him, 2 games through. And as far as swing players and X factors go, that's not great.
I mean, I think we nailed Jordan Poole and Aaron Gordon being X factors. Like, we nailed it. We just didn't nail that they would be like, they would go like so.
Except for like in one, the X equals an A, and the other, the X equals an F.
Yeah. It's totally true.
The variable is
Aaron Gordon, I mean, where do you go from here? Because I thought tonight, in that first quarter, he had a look on him of like, I know what I got to do. I got to go hard. And it was like just as bad, if not worse, than game 1.
I think that the idea that no one's afraid of him, like, really does bother him and it gets to him. And also, this is kind of who he's been. Like, with the Magic, they really didn't make the playoffs much, so, like, he hasn't really felt this a lot. But the last time he was in the playoffs, he did not look good. And I think it's really starting to take its toll. I think that he had got comfortable with the Nuggets and his role with the team for a while, but now he's back in that just trying to find something that works mode, and that's when he's starting to step out from himself. When you look at this matchup, it's tough for anyone. It's not just like an Aaron Gordon thing, but like he does have the intangibles to like play well against the Warriors. You just kind of have to communicate and also get through screens and just play hard, and he's not doing that, and they just are going after him. It's kind of like they're just kind of like going, like they're salting him out. Right. At times where they're setting the screen and then putting them in ISO situations and just keeping them moving at all times. And they're going to, get you every single time on that. But you have to, like, dig deep to try to get something going. And he looks so down in the dumps right after that first quarter that it was like, okay, they already broke your spirit. Now they're going to just take it away from you. And it looks like they have. He's not doing good offensively. He's not doing good defensively. He's not stepping up on the boards. It's like, what are you doing well? And they're just going to keep going after it. And that's what they do. They smell blood in the water. They're going to go after it. And he's just allowing it.
Oh, man. Man, Aaron Gordon is just fully encapsulates what the Nuggets are all about right now. Like, you're right. Like, you see it on his face. He's a step behind every single defensive assignment that he has. Jordan Poole is just shaking him, no problem. He's not making any impact on the offensive side. He's taking ill-advised shots. If he's taking shots at all, like, it's tough, man. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, most of the Nuggets have not played well in this series, but Aaron Gordon, this is now 2 years in a row where the playoffs have come around and he's just shrunk in a way that is just, like, frankly inexcusable. I mean, I'm looking for excuses to why he's playing so bad. He does not appear to be labored, like he does not appear to be injured, but he's certainly playing like he is. It's rough, man. I mean, like, when your guys are out, like, guys have to step up, and Aaron Gordon is not stepping up. That should be our second best player. Yeah, he's probably like our 5th best player on a team.
I know. Who is the second best player in the series?
Monte,
for Denver?
Maybe? I don't even know.
Honestly, it might be Barton. I know the chat's going to get really mad at this.
It's probably
he wasn't
Barton.
even that good today, although he did have 12 points, 10 rebounds, which I tip my hat to. Like, rebounding, look, that was a big deal from game 1. Was
the
like
rebounds
nobody
were
was
way better
rebound.
this time around, too.
And 10 rebounds for him, for a guy who's a shooting guard, like, that's, say what you want about him, but at least he grabbed some boards tonight.
I think he's been arguably their second best player, and I'd give him like a C- D+.
That's so true.
Through 2
That's
games.
like we are.
Before the chat loses their mind. We agree with you. Right? Like, no one's playing well enough. And that's why that question's really interesting.
God, you're right.
It's been...
Who else would it be?
It's been no one. And I mean, I understand, like, I am not trashing Jokic. You don't have to explain Jokic to me. I understand all of the factors working against him. But even still, we have seen Jokic push through and go above and beyond. And I know that this is about as much as the deck can be stacked against you. But this is not his A+ game, is it? None of us can say that.
Let's do this. Before we go to break, I just want to ask one thing. To me, toughness has been a big thing with this team. Like, they're quiet. They're a quiet group. They're a finesse group. They're, can play smart, this or that. Toughness. Do they have enough tough guys?
Yeah.
And tonight, I'm telling you, the thing that scares me the most is that the Nuggets have broken mentally. They didn't have it. Like, this is a mental challenge as much as anything. Like, they're probably going to lose this series. They even knew that coming into it. The question was, can you just, like, stay focused enough and do this? And the answer is like a resounding no right now. That's the thing that concerns me. I think this team lacks not one, not 2,
Right.
not 3. They lack a whole bunch of guys to get up to par from a toughness standpoint, Dev.
Yeah, when you look at the guys, like they have their moments. Like when something goes well, then they're flexing, or
Right.
if they have a lead, then they're flexing and they're trying to like hype themselves mentally. But then it just goes away because the Warriors are not believing that. They don't believe that they're
Right.
tough guys. You could like do all of that stuff over there. As soon as the Warriors get to themselves, that's when all of that goes away, and they're like exposed in a lot of ways. The Warriors, they clown you in like the classiest way, and that's what really bothers you because they're so good. They're playing the right way. They're zipping passes around. They're knocking down threes. They celebrate each other every single time. They're not having to work hard for their baskets, and then on the other end, you're working extremely hard to try to get it, and then that's when you're trying to hype yourself mentally. So I don't think that they have the tough guys, especially in their starting unit, and that's how you're going to win that type of game. When you look at like a person that maybe they fear, it's Cousins on the bench. It's JaMychal Green, who just like might really want to fight. That's the only toughness that they have. It's not
But
like
even
through
that
their
toughness
play.
is like
Exactly.
not the right one. Like J. Mike gave up the rebound. I can't. Was it Otto Porter today when it was just like toughness is also just
Yeah.
I know what I'm out here to do, and even he didn't have that tonight.
Exactly.
At least in his first stint, he kind of did later on. Let's take a break. On the other side,
Let's take a break from the
let's
Nuggets.
take a break to read some ads here. On the other side, though, I do want to talk about Jokic and his ejection. Like I just have to get to it because to me,
God.
it's something that affected me so much. Right? We have to like spend a whole segment on it.
This is my new favorite bit. Are you having trouble watching the Denver Nuggets? Well, it's easier now with Avoca TV, and it's not just the Denver Nuggets. It's also the Rapids. It's also the Avalanche. That's because Avoca Sports includes local networks like Altitude. That's like why Avoca TV includes local networks like Altitude Sports. This service is now available in Denver, Colorado, and Colorado Springs. Where can you get it? You can go to avoca.tv/DNVR, and we've got a promo code. You can use promo code DNVR. You get $10 off your first 3 months. That's only $15 per month, the first 3 months, plus receiver. You guys deserve to watch your favorite teams. And you really shouldn't have to jump through this many hoops. But here's one hoop. It's a big one. It's human size. You should fit through it nicely. We're holding it up for you. Avoca TV. Watch your Nuggets. Watch your Avs. You deserve it. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook, wants you to know that the NBA playoffs mean next-level basketball for some teams. Get in on the first-round action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets instantly. You win no matter what. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on NBA hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Plus, each day of the first round, get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the first round of the playoffs and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code DNVR at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. And what number do I call to get this music off the goddamn
Touch Tunes
jukebox?
hates us.
They really do.
Touch Tunes plays the worst.
You've seen us talk about this before on the show, and now you see like how distracting it is. It's very rough.
It's always the end of the night. Like, it's a fun night, great night at the bar.
I'm telling you, it's only if they lose. They
And then
win.
if they
it's
lose-
like not. It's something else.
Darren is trolling us.
I think
That's
Darren is
the
trolling
only-
us, our
that's
bar
the only-
manager, for the next couple months. I have to preface this. Because this is going to be incendiary.
Oh boy.
It's going to be incendiary. Nobody loves Jokic like I do.
Oh boy.
Nobody on earth loves Jokic like I do. I love this motherfucker. I really do.
Yeah.
With all of my heart.
It's true.
He's one of my top favorite people in the entire world.
Thin line between love and hate, they say.
It's the thickest line the world's ever seen. It's the thickest line. It's so far away. I love him. He's incredible.
This is a big
He is
preamble. I can't wait for the second half of this.
I'm trying to
letting the beat
I'm
build.
saying, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna let me ISO here while I really build up some
Don't
goodwill.
put me in this shot. Is there a way to zoom in?
close it on
I have
him.
nothing to do with whatever he's about to say.
I look forward to like sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll just watch highlights of Yoke.
We're still
I'll
going.
just like go back. Yeah, I'm saying I love this guy. We're going to Serbia. That's
Did
how
he
much I
reset?
love this guy. I'm just going to a place he has been to, just so I can be, in a place he's been to. He's got more to learn. he's got more to learn on this lesson, and we're going to hear from him later tonight. I hope and also expect him to take ownership for this and the same thing. So when I am critical of him, I expect him to be critical of himself. I'm going to read a quote. I'm going to get ahead of ourselves here with a wind chime from Michael Malone tonight. I just have to set the stage here. Michael Malone on Jokic. He says, as a leader of this team, he's got to show guys in adverse times when things aren't going your way, you've got to find a way to fight through it. Be mentally tough. That's going to be a challenge for him moving forward. It is. This guy is incredible. He's not perfect. He's not perfect. He's very emotional in a way that can be very destructive, and tonight was incredibly destructive. Here's the thing.
I think he's perfect, by the way.
Him getting tossed tonight is a bad look. To me, it's weakness. If I'm a competitor, and I'm a very competitive person. A very competitive person.
I don't like
you guys don't know this about me.
When you said that.
I do know that about you.
You do know that about me. I'm like I'm beyond the line of a healthy competitiveness level. I'm a very competitive person.
Nothing healthy about
If I'm a competitor and I watch Jokic do what he did tonight, the same way I watch him do what he did in the Sun series to leave the game, I sit there and I just laugh my ass off. Because I'm like, you won. Like this Draymond Green tonight, like his inner dialogue tonight was like, wow, I didn't think I won that bad. But like that's a big dub. And Jokic has to understand that. They are trying to test you mentally. They are trying to get you to do the exact thing you did tonight, and he cracked. Is the officiating bad? Yes. Did what he do help the officiating for Game 3? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I might even say it makes it more difficult for him to get fouls now. Because everybody's just going to look at that and say that's a meltdown. That's not a guy that's like arguing. That's a meltdown. To me, Jokic did some really good things tonight, and he took it to Draymond a little bit, although, again, he's got to crack that code, and I'm curious. The rest of this series, it's the only thing that is on the docket for me is Jokic needs to grow as a player, and even in a losing effort, I want to see him crack this Draymond thing. So if they match up with the Warriors again next year, he has a little bit more ammo to throw at him. But him getting tossed tonight, I hope that he can look himself in the mirror and say this is not it, because all of his teammates have to look at him and go, yeah, he's getting his ass kicked, and it's affecting him, and he can't handle it.
Anyone want to touch that, or Eric?
I'll touch it. I mean, you're not wrong. Like Jokic is. This is his biggest fault. Is that he is very emotional. He's not emotional at all until he's very emotional. He's like. He buries his emotions until they explode. And we've seen now that's how the last series ended last year against the Suns. He got ejected. I mean, tonight it was inconsequential, completely inconsequential. The game was out of reach.
Inconsequential with regards to the game score, 100%.
With him getting that had nothing to do with the game. Him getting ejected. I mean, some part of me likes that he's just like, man, fuck this, and just will let his incredible frustration show, because the man gets fouled every time he has the ball. We know, he gets fouled every single time. It's to the point where you stop even pointing it out. You're just like, well, another slapped him on the arm, slapped him on the elbow, slapped him on the back, slapped him in the face. Arms are bleeding. No foul. That's fine. I don't know how he gets his point across. I mean, there's been any number of pleas and begs from coaches, from other players, from media members. I mean, it's just something that's so obvious when you watch the game. I wish that it didn't have to get to that point and it didn't end up with him looking petulant and sort of childish in a way. But I understand. I certainly understand. I think if it were me, I mean, because I am weak, I'm the bottom human, that I would have gotten ejected much, much earlier. But it is troubling because this happens. When you get Jokic's GOAT, when you get the GOAT of the GOAT, he can be broken.
Right. But that's a real question I would have. Look, to win a championship, you get pushed to your limits. Giannis last year had a 50-piece in Game 6, went 17 of 19 from the field, hit a 3, hit a mid-range pull-up. He had to do all of the things that people have wondered, can you do this? You get pushed to your limit. If Jokic's going to win a title and carry Denver to a title, guess what? He's going to face this exact same level of adversity. At some point, he's going to face not getting foul calls or a defender that's his equal, that it's I just got to mano-a-mano. I got to solve this out. And it's concerning to me that that's how he reacted tonight. All I'm saying is that it's another thing that you look at and say, has he grown from, remember his first couple years, it was he would flip out all the time over nothing, and it was he slowly got better. Yeah. But I look at this now and I go, man, it was when he came back in, all I was thinking was don't get ejected, and he got ejected in the exact way I feared.
I mean, he wanted to get ejected.
I know, but I don't. But
Right. But he was like,
I'm looking at him.
He's like, I need to be heard. Like I must be heard.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so frustrating is that he is the leader of this team. He is the face of the team. So you need your leader to like show composure. Even when he's going through those type of things, he could show it in different ways, like dominate the game with like being more aggressive. Like get your technical foul like by throwing your body into someone and trying to, go up and things like that. Also, when you think about like the overall perception of Jokic from like a national standpoint, and I'm not even just talking about like media heads or anything like that, but just like the world's view of him, they don't get to see him play on a nightly basis like we do. Like you can't even watch him in your home
people
state.
In Denver.
So the only time that you get to see him is on these national television games. And in games that Nuggets have been getting their ass beat in, he gets kicked out or he hits a guy or, you go back to the last playoffs with the Suns and, he does that to campaign. These are the things that like stick in your head that when he gets frustrated, he is going to lash out. This is another opportunity for them to say this is who he is as a player, and you don't want that to be the legacy for him because he's been such a dominant player, such a good player that plays the right way. He doesn't have those moments often.
Right.
It just gets to him at times, and that's when you start to build that reputation that he does not need, but also he does deserve because it does keep happening. So he has to find a way to like dig deep to like just punish people in different ways, like we've seen in the past, and we haven't been seeing that. And this is another opportunity that he gets kicked out of the game because he doesn't want to be there anymore. And then you can make an excuse of why he doesn't want to be there instead of it just being, I'm a dominant player, I deserve better.
Vogt, I think this is part of his reputation now. And I think it was before because like we've seen the frustration, but I think tonight, the fact that it happened in Game 4 against the Suns last year, now the fact that it happened again right now the way it did, to me, I'm like, that's written in pen. It's going to take a lot for this not to be part of his reputation. Like he's going to have to rise above he always gets ejected when his team is down big in a series.
Yeah, I mean, it was that Dwight Howard kind of dynamic expounded, right, and blown up, and I think it'll probably be on a microscope going forward. A guy like Draymond Green knows, too, and how to exploit that.
And by the way, rightfully so. Like, there's a lot of things that are going to be said about Jokic if they lose this series and get swept and every game looks like this. There's a lot of things that are not going to be fair or true, but the one about him losing composure, to me, will be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Like, that was the biggest reason why I didn't like the hack in the Sun series.
Right.
I mean, I know he never
agree.
hit the guy, but I just sort of felt like it was the worst way to go out. This
and campaign flopped and did all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. It still was him losing his cool.
This one I didn't mind as much. Like, it's Game 2. That game was lost. Maybe he feels like he's got a point to make. I do, in as much as I've criticized him, I do, in fact, think he's getting clobbered. Like, I do think they're swallowing their whistle.
Right.
And maybe there's more to gain at just putting a show on now in a game that was lost in Game 2. It's not like that's the last we'll see of Jokic in this series, right? So how does he respond from this? I do think, as a general note, it's fair. And I think that's why we saw Malone highlighted. I mean, I think this is something that Jokic, I think he's the best player in the world. That doesn't mean there aren't areas he can improve in, right? And so it's his job to identify them, and it's our job to talk about them, and I think this might be one of them.
Now, we did all this ragging on him, I'll take it. I did all this ragging on him. You guys were just like sitting next to me. I will say, this is what's so great about sports, and this is what's great about sports when you get to the playoffs, when you get to the higher level.
Are we sure there's anything great about sports?
I'm not sure, but that's what I think is great about them. These are all learning opportunities. I sincerely hope that this is one of those ones that when Jokic cools down, when everything kind of comes down and he gets to reflect on this, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is actually a problem. Every now and then you have what alcoholics refer to as a moment of clarity, where you sit there and you actually are able to look at yourself and say, in what ways can I as a person grow from this terrible experience that I'm on? And honestly, that's what the playoffs do. They force you either just to ignore it and never grow, or they force you to actually say, like, where did I get beat, man? Like, at some point over the summer, hopefully he's like, you know what? Draymond's tough. I just didn't solve that one. I got to get back to the board. But also, I lose my cool. And that's a thing I have to know about myself now, and I either accept it and I just never grow for it, or I grow bigger. So this is a frustrating moment for Jokic in a frustrating series, but it's also an opportunity for him. And to be honest with you, Jokic has presented very few opportunities to see flaws. Honestly, like so often we're just like, he looks great. He just always dominant. Like the game comes so easy and naturally to him. This is an example where it's not, and it's starting to reveal something that we're all seeing, and hopefully he sees as well. That's like, I can get better from this. He has to this point in his career. Every time he's had
Right,
one of these
that's
little
the
walls,
thing, right.
he's always gotten better because of it. What Draymond Green, the guy he's going up against right now, talked to him years ago. He shared the story about how he was talking about his defense wasn't up to snuff, and Jokic told him like, "Hey man, I appreciate you saying that. I've looked in the mirror and I've done this." Draymond Green's going to talk some shit about Jokic after the series if it goes like this. Hopefully Jokic can have the same response and just get better from it. All right.
Man, chat loved that. Holy shit.
I'm sure the chat did.
I have never seen it like that.
Here's the thing about it, though, man. People, again, when we did the preview to the series, people were like, why are you so pessimistic? I'm always going to give you my authentic take. I'm always going to give you my honest take. Most of the time, that really is. Like with this team, it has been like a very optimistic going one direction. Seeing something in this team and in this series, like there was obviously we weren't wrong in our pessimism about the series, and now they're going through this adversity. But where do you want to go from here?
What about the rest of the night? I don't know. Like, I mean, it is. I don't know.
How good are the Warriors?
That's kind of where I was just about to say. Like, the Nuggets are. It feels like they're bottoming out at the moment, but they're kind of bottoming out at where a peak is forming. Like
Right.
a volcano is rising, and they're just sort of staying at base camp.
This will look differently if like the Warriors sweep the Nuggets like this, and then they go play the Grizzlies or Wolves and sweep them like that, and then they go play the Suns and win in 5 or 6. Like it'll be looked at differently. It'll be like, of course they lost to a freaking juggernaut, and that's on the table.
I mean, the Warriors have been on ice for a year and a half. Warriors didn't make the playoffs last year. They didn't have Klay. They benched a bunch of people. They realized they weren't going to be able to do anything. They literally did not make the playoffs.
Right.
And before that, that was when they had Kevin Durant, and they were a dominant force, and but this is like the reformation of the Warriors that we saw dominating the league with those 3 players. Like they're finally back together, and my God. And plus, again, they've added Jordan Poole somehow to that. They've added Otto Porter. They've just added all-star starting player Andrew Wiggins.
Right.
I don't know, man. Like the Nuggets really gave them all they could handle in the first half, and there's just like a sad feeling of inevitability when the Warriors are like, you're hanging with them, you're beating them, but like they're making shots, but they haven't hit that point where they go absolutely nuclear. Like the third quarter was their calling card the last time that they were all together. They blew teams out every time in the third quarter, just like we saw tonight. Like this is a recipe that's been played out many, many times, and it just sucks. It sucks. Like the Warriors are getting what we thought we were going to get, which is all of their players coming back at the exact right time, the start of the playoffs. Like if the Nuggets have their 2 big guys come back at the start of the playoffs and have a chance to actually be the best versions of themselves, like we're talking about something completely different. But like we're talking about a team that finally has it going together versus a team that's still just kind of looking around trying to figure out what the answer is outside of Nikola Jokic, and you just don't have it. Like you don't replace 2 max level players on a team. Like you can sort of fill in the gaps. You can bring in a Bryn Forbes, which was the story going in. We're going to play Bryn Forbes this game.
How did old Forbes do tonight?
He got like 10 points, 12 points. I mean, but he was shooting in garbage time.
He did play 24 minutes, which is wild, but a lot of that garbage time.
They were not a good 24 minutes. So I don't know. It's just like a tough dose of reality, and it's the thing that we've been waiting for, or expecting. At least I have this whole year. Like this team is only going to go as far as without the top level talent, like they're not going to go far. Like we were hoping and praying it was going to happen. There was going to be a kismet. All the stars aligned. They get them right at the right time, just like these goddamn Warriors did. And it's just not in the cards. Doesn't seem like the cavalry does not appear to be coming. So, and now it's just like playing for pride, man.
So Jokic looked so good, and there was that first third where the role players looked good around him, where you're going home after these lounges and you're going, there's no point in writing him off, right? There's no point in writing him off. He played at that level to the point where you start filling yourself with this hope. But you're right, Eric. There is just there's an inevitability right now. By the way, series isn't over. We sat up here 2-3-1 series and
This is what
did this as well.
Honestly, tonight feels more. I mean, it feels like the Sun series. That's part of
That's
why
how it feels to me.
But
I agree.
But the game 3, or I think it was, of that Jazz series, the first time when Denver fell down 2-1, but the second game, the second loss was a huge blowout. Also felt like this. Remember, we were talking about, like, were we wrong about Jokic, like this or that? And guess what? The next game was a loss, but competitive, and then after that they went on their run. Like, you're right that it's not over. There's still things Denver can do. I think more than anything, this is probably more of a gut check run from here.
It's a gut punch.
But it doesn't matter. Like, you get to come home and you get to a chance to save the narrative a little bit and to try to tell you something. We're still waiting on Will and Nicola, by the way, so this might be a long show.
Yeah, I don't actually think the comeback's coming, by the way, Chad.
Dude.
I just, as a matter of fact, there are games to.
But you know what?
play.
But again,
Nicola had more time to get ready too.
he did have more time to do his workout than everything else. Yeah, probably a lot going on there. Can the defense? Is this just do they not have good defensive players? Do they not have a good defensive, like, the communication is so bad and they should be better than this, and maybe we should question coaching staff's ability to get them on pace? Or are the Warriors unguardable with this lineup?
I think they're pretty unguardable with this lineup, but also, like, it's a lot of things that I'm sure that the coaching staff for Denver is talking about, like sticking to your guy, switching on screens. Like, you're actually starting to see how much they're actually switching instead of, like, drop coverage, which you can't do against a team that shoots as well as they do, or overhedging, like a lot of the things. Like, they really are switching and stuff, but it's those small mental lapses because they make sure that they rotate it so often. They make sure that they set the screens and keep moving without it. So Denver does have the personnel to match that. Do they have the mindset to match that? Do they have the guys that are going to say, no, it's not going to be on me? I think that's where it becomes so tough for Denver, is because there are moments that they do, like, rotate 7 times, rotate 8 times, but Warriors are still going to make the extra pass, and they're still going to make you. And then if they make a shot, it hurts. It hurts because you used all your energy. You committed so much on defense. There's a lot of positive plays from Aaron Gordon in this game defensively if you, like, go back and just watch it. But then they hit one, and it's just like, okay, that's brutal. Then it's just so exhausting, and they play that type of brand of basketball that makes it like, how do you do that for the entirety of the game, especially when they not only started hot, they were hot for the entirety of the game. Every single shot that the Warriors threw up, it seemed like it went in. But that's just the type of, like, momentum that they get throughout the game. That's the type of brand where everybody can score at all times. But that's why I think I'm so positive, is because you're going to still be able to watch the film and do those adjustments, because it's a few like just stepping up on defense. It's a few more rotations. It's a few more switches where you like take that momentum and you try to turn it around. Denver was up in this game. Don't make that, that Monte Morris like mistake and just keep on going where they have to just kind of give up. And that's what they need more of.
They're buried under these avalanches, but they're surviving the scraps, right? So what can they do to sort of avoid tipping those off, right?
Yeah, let's hit our final break. On the other side, we'll get to some super chats, and hopefully Harrison Wind will be joining us with an update on Will
song
and Nicola.
Because this was just a nightmare jukebox
this
playoff night. No, this one's great. I'm saying I was struggling up here. Whether you're listening to good music or bad music, you'll probably like it better if you check out Lightshade, Colorado's premier dispensary.
This is our song. We're going to be all right.
They've got
some takes?
They've got 11 locations in Colorado now, and no matter which location you go to, you should ask for Wana. Fast Asleep Optimals. Need to catch up on some shut-eye after the big game. No matter where you take them, this well-rounded recipe will leave you feeling rested and refreshed in the morning. Over-the-counter pharmaceuticals knock you out with powerful drugs that leave you in a fog, but not Wana Optimals Fast Asleep Gummies. They offer a holistic, plant-based solution that tackles the root causes of sleeplessness, like stress and pain. Wana, don't you wanna? Where do you get it? Lightshade, what do you do when you get there? Give them promo code DNVR. They're going to give you 25% off all non-sale items. Your
Items.
Colorado rugby team has rebranded again, but this one is here to stay. The rugby team, composed of crossover athletes, ended their first season at 5-5. Pretty great for former athletes coming together for the first time and putting their skills to the test. If you haven't heard of the Raptors, they reside in Rugby Town, USA. If you don't know what that is, it's Glendale, Colorado, right here in your great state. Coming from backgrounds in football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, soccer, track and field, you get it, from different sports. Now they play rugby, and they're good. What's the best thing about hitting up an American Raptors game? They're free. You heard that right, free. Head over to AmericanRaptors.com and grab your free ticket for the upcoming season. If you can't make the game, AmericanRaptors.com will be streaming all of them from their website. And if you want to learn more about the game, if you already know and you just want more content, check out our weekly DNVR Rugby podcast, hosted by Colton Strickler. Get that wherever you get your podcasts.
Dev is gone, by the way. Dev went home.
Wait, what? Oh my God!
How's it going?
What the heck? Pulling in tight, pulling in nice and tight there.
All right.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined now all the way from the Bay. Flew in just to get away from the Bay, which I think was very smart. It's my guy Ozzy.
Couldn't handle all of my friends screaming in my face. I live in Berkeley and just surrounded by Warriors fans. Everybody's talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of sweet talk. Didn't want to be around there, so flew out over here.
Better to suffer together.
Gotta come visit the family, hang out with friends, just deal with it
I
together.
love that about you.
Totally love that. So what's the connection to Denver?
I grew up here.
Oh, okay.
So I was born here, left like kind of middle schoolish to California, and
The rare reverse transplant. Like
Yeah.
they left Colorado to California. Very rare.
yeah.
Very rare.
Yeah, but so yeah, I've been in Cali for 20-ish years now, but
Okay.
never.
at this guy.
Colorado sports never left my heart.
No, I love that.
I love this
that.
guy.
Yeah, Aussies are people, man. So you have some takes. I mean, you've heard the show.
Yeah.
First of all, what do you think of watching the show live? How different is it?
It was fun. It was interesting. I mean, it's just cool to see the whole vibe and the
There's a
behind
real-
the thing.
I gotta
behind
say,
the scenes
this
things
is
going
not
on.
representative of the normal vibe.
I've
Yeah.
never criticized Jokic in my life till today.
Adam-
This is the
Yeah,
first time I've ever
Adam did a
criticized him.
10-minute
This was quite the
preamble.
game to be here
Yeah.
for this.
Chat's loving us.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, man. I'm telling you, got to keep it honest. Got to keep it 100. George Carl
you
told me
do.
that.
You got to be honest. Actually, so
Gotta fire off some takes to DeMarcus Cousins now.
Can we just sorry? Can we talk about George Karl being the most optimistic person about this series in
Oh
the
Yeah.
world?
man, I'm telling you.
What was that?
I feel like he was trolling us.
Me too. I think
he's
so
just
too.
trolling us.
Okay, sorry. I'm ready
no,
for
no,
your
no,
take.
no, no. But actually, okay. So one of my takes was so things are bleak right now.
Oh,
right.
man, so
Things, things are bleak.
They're bleak.
And honestly, so there's some Jokic criticism that's happening right now, and there's some very valid points, and it made me think we compare Jokic to Dirk a lot, right?
Not to Nurk.
Not to Nurk, to Dirk. That was my bad. But when you look at all the criticisms that Dirk had when he lost to the Warriors, when he got believed, right? When that 8-1 upset, and that was his MVP year, right? So there's a lot of that wasn't the team
a
around
lot
him.
of parallels,
Right?
a lot of
a lot of parallels. So we could have that later on. That Heatles
Time is a flat
Heatles series
circle.
that
it's been
comes
said.
over.
Man, all we need is Jokic to go backpacking. Do you remember this happened? He reached such a low. Dirk did.
Yeah.
Both as a player, but also in his personal life, he had gotten his heart broken. And
I mean,
really,
the
really
Bill
tough
Simmons
situation.
articles were just tearing him
Just-
apart.
Yeah, I'll
right?
bet that had less to do with his own personal breakdown
Yes,
than a
yes,
lot of other
it-
things that were happening in his personal life or what have you. But he reached a low point and then came back stronger. It was he was an MVP and then he got broken and had to be it's almost like, do you guys see Batman? With Christian Bale, when he goes and he has his back broken and he has to live in the darkness for all that
Yeah,
time.
I've seen Batman with
Do you guys
Christian
remember
Bale.
that?
Yeah.
The
and he
Dark
climbs
Knight?
up the.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
Batman with Christian
broken
Bale.
back and he has to come back to it from it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
I thought
Yeah.
maybe you saw the most recent Batman.
No,
Yeah, I thought
No, not that.
really
not the
surprised.
Batman.
7.5
A Batman.
really surprised.
I saw Batman back then. Back in
Hey,
the day.
I mean, look, this happens to a lot of stars, right? And the best ones tend to they reach this point. We were just here with Giannis, weren't we?
We were.
And by the way, it was about to reach peak apex levels, if not for Durant's grotesquely large feet. So maybe, look, this is the kind of thing that we want to see our guy be in this conversation for best in the world. We want to see him win back-to-back MVPs. This comes with the territory.
So
And
true.
How
So
will
true.
he respond? And to the point that you made earlier, we're pointing these things out. We're not saying he can't do it. Every time to this point in his career, Jokic has responded, figured things out, turned a corner. I'm excited to see him do it again with some of this stuff.
Dude, Jokic needs to take this. Well, again, series not over. It might be over. Jokic needs to go across the desert on a horse with no name. Just find himself. You're right. Like, he just needs to have, like, I mean, this year has been so terrible from the perspective of Nikola Jokic. He has risen to heights that were seemingly unthinkable because he had to. The simple reason that he had to. And now we are at the culmination, like the logical end of this season where
I know this season was always going to go.
it was
end in
always
flames.
going to be this
Yeah,
without
right.
without the cavalry arriving. This is what it was going to happen. And now it's like somehow also all on Jokic.
I know.
It's like so like unfair is not even the right word.
You know what's funny though, because I keep thinking like if you just win the series or if you just get to the certain point, the Nuggets won a series last year and then got swept. And everyone's like, man, they suck. Like no matter what you accomplish, if you just the last thing you do, which is for every team but one lose, it's like that's the only thing that matters.
What's the saying? You can't fix lies. You can't fix slander, bro. People are going to
Right.
do it. It's just the
they're
going to
do slander to us.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it's our problem.
Well, so one of my questions is just like in this series, like we're trying to take the positivity out of this series no matter what, and just like so who's going to be the Paul Millsap this year, right? Because like when I think back to the Clippers series and all like these things that we come back, like we know what Jokic can do, we know what Jamal Murray can do, and like we don't have him, and that's rough. But like when I think to some of like the darker times of the Nuggets and like somebody like stepping up and saying it's not going to happen like this, it was Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
Right. He was the one that was
Don't
just
back
like,
down.
the Wolves just like have my head bleeding. I'm going to throw on a headband and we're just going to do this. I'm going to go drop 20 on him right now. Marcus Morris isn't going to punk me out like this. That's not how it's happening.
I'll tell you it's
we
not
don't have
gonna
somebody on the team right like
I'll
that.
tell you who
right
it's
now.
not going to be is his replacement Jeff Green.
It's not.
I know.
Honestly,
It'd be a
like
real shocker.
The closest thing we have is Austin Rivers right now, and like that's not
It's just-
there.
honestly, I don't even know who the person should be. You know,
Jermichael
Bone-
Green.
Bones,
Well, or-
maybe it's Bones.
Or you
even
do
Bones
it
didn't have the
on the
cachet.
court, and like that's the Jamal stuff that I miss.
Yeah,
it's just
for
the
sure.
run stopper.
For sure.
Yeah.
The like, we don't have the avalanches we were just talking about with Dev, right? You feel them coming. Man, we need a bucket. Everyone's looking around, and everyone looks sped up.
I was like, you were talking about hockey with Dev?
But then Jamal just gets you a bucket,
Yeah.
and that settles things down.
Speaking of Jamal, he has a fresh tweet. It's
Oh,
been a
cool.
while since he's
New
tweeted.
tweet
He
drop?
says, "Y'all don't think I want to be out there, huh? Crazy."
Of course. That's the thing. That's the wildest thing is that people are mad at Jamal for not coming back. And this is, again, a player that played an entire season with 2 sports hernias.
Right.
Like, this is a tough guy. His entire life is predicated on the idea that his dad made him do push-ups in the snow. That, like, he had this, like, weird, like, monk-like upbringing where his dad, like, taught him to ignore pain.
Right.
There's no chance that if he was able to play, he would not be. I mean, he's not just. The reports are that he is cleared. This is mental. I mean, it's more than that. It's more than that. He clearly he feels so. It's not like he's just thinking something wrong. Like something's not right.
Right. I mean, you got to think he would like. This is the thing, as I always said, I wanted him to feel the pain of this season,
Right.
and I just don't know how much you can when you are not playing. But I gotta say, like the Nuggets getting clowned the way that they are, you don't even have to be on the court to feel. I feel it. I'm just watching from a
course.
TV screen, like with surrounded by other Nuggets fans, and
Yeah.
like I feel it. So he's got it. He's for sure feeling this. We gotta get to the super chat. So you got
Anyone tweeting nasty things at Jamal? Like,
I'm telling you, I think it's
Delete
just-
your
We
account.
don't know who the person is. Like, there's like some media people in town are obviously going after him
It's
lately. For
embarrassing,
it.
dude.
I've always said
Embarrassing.
I think it's fair to ask the question about it. I still think it's fair, but like I said, nobody knows that answer except for Jamal. What do we got here? Aaron says, Jokic is a back-to-back employee of the month, not a manager. Leadership is not something he does well due to him expecting team to play smart ball. There's some truth to this in that Jokic does have more to go on leadership. Like, look, he was asked this at the All-Star game this year about where can he improve his game, and he said, I think at this point it's more mental. Guys, this is what skills you can see added. Like, oh, he added a three-point shot, or he added this. Like, it's very obvious. mental aspect of this is forged through trials and tribulations and through moments like this. So while I would agree with you that he has not checked that box quite yet, this could be the growing pains of him getting there.
I mean, but Jokic was this all season. He was absolutely the manager all season long. He led the Nuggets all season long.
Oh, I mean, of course. Well, and that,
but this
I read
this,
that differently, but
but
you're
this-
right.
this
That criticism
but
is ridiculous.
This is I don't
You're
know.
right.
I can't like really deal with people calling out Jokic's leadership. How are you supposed to lead this team? Like, by example. Okay, cool. Like, he's leading by example. Like, then at a certain point, like, he can't take every goddamn shot. Like, to me, outside, I mean, he got ejected, right? So that's the immediate thing that you can point to say that maybe he's not there. Game was over at that point. Like, there's no leadership at that point. Like, there's no leaders on the like.
I don't know about that part. I disagree with
I mean,
that
they were
part.
down by 20 plus.
I agree that he couldn't going to win, but I think that leadership still
But I'm
matters.
saying, like, I don't believe
You gotta
that was an
keep
indictment of his
composed,
leadership.
though, at some
But that
point,
was not
right?
an indictment of his leadership in any way. And Jokic, as a leader, dragged this team to 47 wins or however many we got. There is something about playing this Warriors team that's just like, it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Like, I get the frustration. Like, to me, this doesn't.
Oh, I get the frustration.
But it doesn't mean to me that he's not a leader. Like,
But
I don't see that.
There's
It's not
different
that
parts
he's
to
not a
leadership,
leader, yeah.
right? Like, you gotta be graceful in winning and graceful in losing too, right? Like, there are like different parts of that.
It's not that he's not a leader. It's that he can be a better leader.
He can be a better leader, but
That's
the
just
idea
the
that he
point.
is not one, like that
Right.
he's
Sure.
he's an
Sure.
employee,
Yeah.
not a manager.
No, we're just
Like,
talking about his
You're
room
right.
for
You're right.
growth.
That's why I said
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Eric.
You're right that I was taking the in more good
Can you
faith
pat
than
him on
maybe
his
it
back?
required.
Pat him on his back. Tell me.
All right, what
right.
else we got? Says carry and lead, two different things. All right, well, we got that. Thanks for the money.
I mean,
What else
look,
we got?
I get.
I mean, the point. I think the spirit of the point remains that he can improve as the leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the idea that is binary, not one is
Sure.
one. Like, no, he has more to grow in that department.
Sports
But he's come a long way also. Andrew says, hopefully we can figure something out. Sad they had to play the Warriors in 2013 when they
It's so true.
first broke out, and now the resurgence. Love you guys. Go Nugs. It is. I mean, this Warriors team's really good. I'm kind of curious just to see how good they are against other teams, because I'll be pretty crushed if they don't look like this against another team.
I mean, how sad is it going to be if it's then Warriors versus Wolves? Like, if the Wolves upset the Grizzlies, then
Okay,
then we
you
get
take
to-
that
and then the
energy
Warriors
and go back in
destroy
the
them.
corner.
But this is the thing: is I was actually thinking about this earlier, where I'm like, who's a tougher matchup? I'm like, of course it's the Wolves will be the easier of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, you think Towns is going to guard in
Oh,
space
no,
like
that's
Jokic?
that's
Like,
why-
no way.
Like, I want to see
D'Angelo?
that matchup. Like, I want to see that
Yeah.
next round matchup. And if
It would be. I honestly think it'd be a 4-game series again.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Treve says Grant, Craig, Vanderbilt, G League Defensive Player of the Year, Shaq Harrison, and Grant, all wing defenders who we replaced with inferior offensive players. I mean, the Grant piece. First of all, you named him twice, but also like he chose not Denver. Like, I don't know, that one you can't really put on. There probably is something too, though. Some of these other guys, like, there have been some good defensive players that have come through that have slipped through the cracks, and I think that's probably one of the lessons the coaching staff and front office are going to have to take to heart. You kind of learn as you go. Even I learn more about the game every year I go through it. Like, there's certain things that you think were more valuable that you look back and go, actually, maybe this was more valuable, but hey, as long as you learn from it.
And by the way, like they probably need more defense, but this may all look different too if they had their guy. Like, you may still be looking at like the swaps, like, oh, they put this guy in there for Torrey Craig. Like, there's a world in which a couple more guys are playing, and you're not thinking about Torrey Craig this year.
Well, this is what's funny, man, is that Boston I kept talking about, like, you need to have a Boston level defense. Well, they barely, at the very last millisecond, beat Brooklyn, who has the worst defense. Like, sometimes if you're just good enough offensively, it just makes for a style fight, and that's probably Denver's path, is to be like a 10th best defense, but a number one best offense.
There's going to be a real challenge for the front office, though, like evaluating this. Do you start chasing your own tail? Like, this was not the team they built, but this
course.
is what they have to evaluate.
I think that question is honestly
the
really,
offseason
really
is
hard.
really
Yeah,
scary.
we'll talk
It's
about
really,
it when
really
we-
tough, but we'll get to
Yeah.
that. Josh says, from Down Under.
Down
Super
Under.
sticker, kangaroo crying and avoiding Twitter. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really
man.
good one.
Hell yeah.
Avoiding Twitter is honestly, it's so funny when everybody's like, this is going to be so tough on Twitter. You can be like, just don't go on.
Oh, it's so much better.
Oh, I
Take a
go on
walk.
Twitter. I don't care. Somebody was like, man, D-Line's going to have a tough day tomorrow on Twitter. I don't give a fuck. Bring it on.
He's going to tweet his way through
I
it.
don't care.
Clayton says, will you guys read that leading edible ad for D-line. Oh, my man.
The leading
The
edible.
leading edible. Hello. First off, DNVR 25% off the leading edible, please.
I'll take one
One leading edible, please.
Jack Bailey chimes in. He says, the Nuggets control my life and my desire to live on this planet. Jack, truer words have never been spoken. It's so true. Like, sports are so fun, and I honestly think you should open your heart to this. Some people are like, you should like. I'm like, why not, man? Like, it's so fun to like feel things
I
in
know.
life.
I just hope that Jack means that we're gonna go to Mars together.
Oh man, would you do it?
Me and Jack.
Can you
Hell
imagine
yeah,
the
dude.
tape delay you'd have to endure though?
Well, I've seen The Martian. I too enjoy pop culture.
Yeah. Oh man.
I do.
Jack Bailey and I are gonna go live in a weird little Teflon sort of tent thing. We're
Yeah.
gonna learn how to make water.
Get Ice
We're
Cave
gonna
Guy
grow
there, too.
potatoes, and we're gonna miraculously make it off of Mars back in time for next season.
Man, that's gonna be
when
so dope.
when our big three is reunited. It's gonna be
that's
beautiful.
so great. Although I think the like window is like every 2 years, so
Oh shit.
yeah,
it's
just
gonna
the
be a few
transfer.
seasons.
orbits, you know, like
We gotta
it's really
rethink this,
tough, yeah.
Jack.
All right, what else we got? Tyler says, super sticker, a hippo in his underwear, binging on Taco Bell, surrounded by the words "down bad." You guys are getting so good
So
at
good
this.
at. I thought that was.
You guys
real.
are like
I
really
thought that was
getting good
real
at
halfway
this.
through.
That's a total vibe right there. I know that vibe.
Total vibe, dude.
I've 1000% been that hippo.
I'm going to be that hippo later.
So good. God, our chat is so great. Who else? I already feel better.
Me too.
Jack says, do you think Draymond is a mental thing for Jokic?
Yes.
I mean, yes, it's mental, and he's also really freaking good.
Well,
Like, guys,
good, yeah.
honestly, man, here's what's funny. Rudy Gobert's a, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year? Jokic smoked his ass. Like, Jokic solved him
Yeah.
so much that they tried playing him on other players. That's how much he beat him. Draymond is a Hall of Fame defensive player, and I don't... It's funny because Steph Curry gets all of the love for this. They have arguably the greatest offensive force in Steph Curry and the greatest defensive force of a generation on their team. Draymond is sort of the Jokic of defense. Like, he really is. Like, what he does, it doesn't always stick out because you can't. Right now it is. But sometimes you don't catch all the great things he does. He's an incredible defender. So, yes, it's a mental thing, but it's also a basketball thing, and that's what's cool about it. Jokic's going to be better for playing against him.
Adam, so let me ask you about this because, like, you talked about Gobert, and like one of the things I remember is like when it's just Gobert, Jokic lit him up, and when it was Gobert and Derek Favors, it was always rough.
Right.
And you like, I haven't noticed it that much in the series, but do you think just the thought of Looney and Draymond at the same time is giving Jokic problems, or
No.
is it just one-on-one?
I think it's the one-on-one. And look, not all of Jokic's skill set gets to be on display right now. We saw this in the Sun series. Like, part of what makes Jokic great is his two-man game with a dynamic player. It's not just like everybody thinks it's one-on-one stuff. Like, sometimes it's just he sets the table really well. He forces switches. He moves the players around, defensive and offensive players around, and then attacks. And right now he can't do that. So I do think there's more that he could go at him. But it's also, Jokic's a great one-on-one player, and he's right now losing the or not even, he's kind of losing it, but more than the point, he's not winning it nearly enough
he's
to the
gotta
degree
dominate it.
that you have to
and
get that
and they're
one.
not running a lot of two-man stuff either, right?
Right.
Like, so they're
Who's
not,
the
Yeah,
second
the
man?
second man's going to be tough
Yeah.
there. But like I said, Jokic's going to be better for this if he wants to be. If he
Right.
This is pushing him to an outside of his comfort zone. Treve says, Golden State Warriors completely exposes all of our roster flaws. For instance, they hunted Morris on several possessions.
And they hunted everyone.
I mean, look, man, no team would look good. Like, no team looks good. Here's the thing. This team looks incredible, right? They had this roster last year, minus Klay Thompson. Jordan Poole's on, a rookie, basically. They had that roster. They didn't make the playoffs. Nuggets are missing 2 guys. They did make the playoffs. Like, no team is good. This team wasn't good when they missed two starters. What else do we got? Get the Fact says, trade everyone besides Jokic, Murray, Bones, Monte.
I love how Bones sneaks in there. Not
Yeah,
surprised,
yeah, I know.
but I love it.
By the way, we haven't talked about him. This is a hell of a first playoff series for Bones. I mean, he's walking into like just an absolute he was
It's a
excited.
buzzsaw.
I would love to know this is Bones. I love Bones. I don't know that he could give an honest answer right now. You'd have to give him a lot of truth serum to be like, what's this like? Because he's got to be like, yo, this shit's crazy, man. This is like so different from the regular season. Those guys are everywhere. They're like impossible to guard. They're defensively, they're all over
The
you.
defensive swarming of the Golden State Warriors is
It's insane.
breathtaking.
I was hoping we would just catch them, just not connected, just figuring stuff
So
out.
connected.
They could not be more connected.
It's crazy. Christian says, AG being asked to do what he can't. He's a wing defender, not a point of attack guard. Would Gary be better with current injured Nuggets over AG? By the way, hi Eric.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Always Eric.
Yeah, that's what you get for being personable and likable.
Yeah, it is kind of
You should
ironic.
try it.
All of you
sometime.
should take note.
It's actually pretty ironic that the Nuggets have gotten smoked. They went up against Portland and won, but they not because of their defense on point of attack defense. Then they went up against the Suns, had nobody to stop point of attack, and got murdered. And by the way, like Aaron Gordon's guarding Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder, who just stand in the corner and don't do anything. And then
we haven't seen a wing since the Aaron
we
Gordon.
haven't seen a wing. Like you all of a sudden get here and you're like, oh, they got all these wings for the Western Conference, and now it's like, well, could probably use Gary Harris more than anyone right now.
And I want to say,
he too can miss every shot.
And I want to say, I was just going to say, do you remember how bad he was on the other end? But AG, give him a run for his money.
So true. How funny. That's the peak of Nug life, is that you traded a guard for a wing stopper and then had no wings to
A
stop.
lot of people predicted that. They did.
Pretty funny.
Isn't that funny?
Corbin says, keeping it 100, would you have preferred Jokic to go down with a fake entry in January and us taking for a mid-lottery pick? Go cook. I'll let you
This
cook.
is so noble. I'm going to use that word earnestly.
Fuck yeah, I love it.
I have so much respect for Jokic's approach to the season, and I'm going to say it because I know it's hip to trash on all of them, the rest of the team too. That we know what quitting looks like. A couple teams this year
Thank you.
quit.
Thank you.
The Denver Nuggets didn't, and because of that, the conversation is, it'll be weird to see how they approach this summer as opposed to F this. I know for sure it's blow it up. Get him out. It doesn't look pretty right now. We're all sitting through the worst of it. But the Nuggets might have a chance to get this train back on the tracks, and it's because they refuse to quit. They refuse to roll over, and they're going to pay the price now. But I hope as fans, and as competitors, they see the payoff for that approach because it's the right one. It's professional sports.
Dude, if they blow it up after this season, that would be, I don't know. That
It's just
I would have
quitting.
to reevaluate my commitment to this squad.
Well, it looks like we have Harrison, so we'll bring him now live from
let's
Chase
get-
Center, and we'll finish off the Super Chats a little bit later. I'm telling you, there's no freaking way. Can we full screen
Yeah, dude,
this? Can we full screen this look? Come on, man. There is no way you're really at Chase Center. Harrison, that is a green screen of Chase Center.
I mean, like I said on the last show, it is a beautiful arena. It is just picturesque.
You did get to talk a lot about the beauty of Chase Center.
Can you spit on the floor or something?
Yeah, just dirty it up. Spit some gum out or something on a seat. Come on, muddy it up. Harrison, was it fun being there?
First quarter was fun.
Sure was.
Do you guys remember the first quarter?
I think God,
That was a great
watch.
quarter.
the fast
What
break.
a time to be alive. What a time.
What a time to be alive. Everything else, not so much. Some of this doesn't always translate onto television, but the Warriors were clearly clowning the Nuggets. They do this to everybody. This is going back to the Warriors, of before. They clown when they get up big. But I felt like, because we were watching the altitude broadcast, that the production team was going into overdrive to hide just how much.
Yeah.
Take us at there. What level of clowning would you say was going on tonight?
Well, there are a couple instances, I think, to your point, that highlighted that when DeMarcus Cousins and Will Barton were going at each other on the Nuggets sideline,
Yeah.
and I'll get into that in a second. Draymond Green is on the other end of the court, hyping the crowd up.
Because he
And
sees them
everybody-
fighting, or just because he was hyping them up?
Because he saw what was going on.
Oh,
He
wow.
saw there was some commotion on the Nuggets bench there. And the whole crowd
the worst.
rose to its feet at that moment.
Good
I mean,
Lord.
It's rough.
It's going well.
This is the roughest way this could have possibly gone outside of an injury.
And then the other one was Nikola Jokic picks up his second tee,
Yeah.
gets tossed from the game.
Yeah.
He was over it at that point. And Draymond Green waves by to him. Crowd rises to its feet again.
God, go
It was
buy
stuff
some
like that.
Go buy some NFTs, you a-holes.
Fortunately, these are also the people ruining democracy.
Everything sucks about the Bay. You guys pushed all of the actual residents out, and now you're ruining basketball. I hope
As somebody that lives there, it's rough sometimes.
Unbelievable.
Will we end up hating Warriors fans by the end of this series?
So funny. We're game 2. We're down so bad. All right.
Ruined capitalism.
What was going on with the kerfuffle between Barton and Boogie? Could you tell what it was about?
I couldn't tell what it was about. I mean, the weirdest part was it came after a Monte Morris 3, which caused the Warriors to call timeout.
Right.
Like, it came in a timeout that was called by the Warriors.
Oh,
But they got into it about something. They had to be separated on the Nuggets sideline. Yeah, it was not great. I mean, Will Barton spoke a little to it after the game, but didn't really get into detail about what was said or why, they kind of went chest to chest. Will Barton just said some goofy shit. That's a quote. Some goofy shit. I shouldn't have entertained it. I shouldn't have let that happen. I can't let that happen in this series, in this playoffs, in this game. But that's what he called it, goofy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I ask a question? Is this actually that bad? Right? How many times have we ever seen the Nuggets fight on the sidelines? Maybe they need to be fighting, And you always have that question of Malone has said, I want one of the players to be the one to step up and, take the reins. Maybe you don't want it to be, the backup center.
That's what I was going to say is the
yeah.
fact that it's DeMarcus Cousins' only thing. Maybe he does have that, he has that he can do this. I don't know that dynamic well enough to say no, but it certainly feels not like it would be him. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer less goofy shit. Maybe some
Yeah.
inspirational.
to your point, it is possible that this is a positive thing. It is possible.
also,
But
It could be worse. I guess.
It also comes and goes quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. Well, Harrison, take us to the locker room then, man. How was Michael Malone?
God.
Well, he definitely took way longer than usual to come out to the podium. The theme of his remarks, the theme of tonight was him going we've got to stick together. That's the most important thing right now. We've got to stick together. We can't splinter in adverse times, he said. When things get tough, finding a way to stay the course is what matters, and that's our challenge right now. He was talking about, the Will and DeMarcus thing because he was asked about it. He said he thinks it came from a good place. He said no one wants to get embarrassed. No one wants to get their ass kicked on national TV. I think it's just frustration. And his other message was when things go awry and when things have gone awry this series, we've lost our composure and we've lost our poise. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Sorry, this chat. Harrison's monitor light showing on his face in his hotel room as he clicks around on the laptop. They're not buying it, Win.
Nobody's buying it, man. Yeah, you're caught.
Wait. I love the idea that he goes to San Francisco, goes into a hotel room, and then
But draws the line there.
He's like, I'm not gonna watch
but
that.
he just still travels.
All right. What else?
He was talking about Nikola getting tossed. And he said, look, I know why he's frustrated. I get it. I'm frustrated with him because he's not getting the calls he should. But he also said as the leader of this team, he's got to show guys that in adverse times, when things aren't going your way, you've got to find a way to fight through it. Be mentally tough. That's going to be a challenge for him moving forward.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I strongly agree. I got yelled at in the chat, though. The chat is going to turn on Michael Malone as well, as Adam Mott is.
I also like how I like that Jokic All-Star quote because he agrees with you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we digress.
But we digest. All right, what do we got?
Digest.
Yeah. He said, look, we put up a fight in the first half, 2 games in a row. But that third quarter was just an avalanche. Give up 44 points in the third. The main thing to him that's jumped out after 2 games, our inability to sustain playing at a high level against this team. He said, my challenge now in game 3 is to find a group that's going to fight and compete for 48 minutes.
God damn it. This is exactly what the Warriors do. This is the old Warriors. They avalanche you in the third quarter. This is what they did every goddamn time.
It's true. It's true. I do think they also wear you down. I mean, part of it, I'm telling you, man, there's such a difference between guarding a regular team and then guarding them with how much they run around. It's like you run more just guarding them. What was the stat somebody put out the other day? They throw the most passes in the NBA, and they threw 40 more passes than they usually do in game 1.
Jesus.
And it's just this is what they do, man. They just make you run around, and then you're exhausted, and the third quarter comes around, and you hit a wall, and they just destroy you. All right, what else?
We spoke to Monte, who was pretty aggressive in his comments, I thought. He goes, look, we've just got to stay together. We're getting our ass whooped, and a lot of emotions have been flaring up. We've got to be tougher. We got to stay together. We've got no fucking chance if we're going to be apart. We've got to stay locked in. We've got to stay together. He went on to say we're playing soft. They're outworking us and playing harder. If we don't stay together, this shit will be over quick.
Oh, man. I like it when the swears come out.
Me too, but I also like him, obviously, I like that they've taken pride in this. I like that they're not counting the series over, like all of those things. Like, look, man, game 3, you come back home to your home crowd, and, you get a chance to kind of bounce back and see what they're made of. But he's saying the right things in terms of, they all know they're getting put. I guess it's undeniable. What were you going to come out and say? Like, we almost had this?
They're like, yeah.
A couple more bounces?
That first quarter was great. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
One or two calls go the other way. We're right there. All right, keep going.
He was saying how, look, like, it's late in the year. We're in the playoffs now. He said we can't go into a war this late in the season and try to talk about things that have gone wrong. He said pretty much the stuff that we were talking about tonight, at least this is how I took it, like as a team. I'm sure on the sidelines in the locker room, this is stuff that we should have been talking about way earlier in the year.
Man, so me trying to read that one, so everybody's talking in the locker room, it sounds like. Me hearing this one, it does sound like he's a little more concerned about the fracturing of the team right now. Because you asked if this could be a good thing, and it sounds like it's not a good thing.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely
This
a
is
bad one.
definitely not a good thing.
Okay.
I mean, 100% not a good thing. He said getting swept again wouldn't be a good look. Shit's embarrassing. If we've got any pride, we're going to find out real soon. They're dancing around out there. Coach is giving us a great game plan. They've just got to be tougher. Shit's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of concerned. Like, usually when you're down like 2-0 and like you're the team down, it's like you want to hear like, we like it's a road series. Like, they did what they're supposed to do. They defended home court. We're gonna come back and win at home. And like the fact that they are already talked about, we don't want to get swept is like concerning. That's where their head is at. It's like not how do we win the series?
Yeah.
How do we not get
The
swept?
first 2 games have not gone well.
No. No,
I think that might be the source of their comment. Yeah, it's man, it is sad times here. At the,
It is
at
very
the old
sad
Nuggets
times.
Lounge.
Yeah. Then we talked to Will as well. Like I said earlier, he was asked about the incident with Cousins. He said just some goofy shit that I can't even entertain. I should have entertained it. I can't let that happen in this series, in this playoffs, in this game. And he said, look, the bottom line is we've just got to get tougher, physically, mentally, emotionally. We were right there in the game. They go on a huge run. We get helter-skelter. We're all over the place on offense. We're not in the right place on defense. And yeah, he said that was kind of the end of it there.
I got really quickly. What the Boogie Cousins? What the hell, man? You get ejected in the first game. You start a fight with a player on the second game. George Karl talked about how he had just terrible energy. He was a cancer in the locker room. We give you an opportunity. You have to earn it with us, and this is what you turn into. Like, he also made the comment earlier about how that George Karl responded to how Sacramento didn't do anything for him. Like,
Man, I couldn't believe.
I'm like so out on Boogie Cousins.
A good
right
writer wrote that one too, and I just couldn't believe the like. We're gonna run with this story because again, it's another one of those like I don't know why every official hates me. I don't know. Sacramento did nothing for like. It's always. I just hate it. I hate this idea.
I was
of
like
always
so
the victim.
in on
By the way, Sacramento sucks. Like I mean,
I
that's a
know.
great point. It's just this victim mentality. Even
I
in
was
your bad
so in on
situations.
Boogie Cousins, and I like after these 2 games, I'm so out on Boogie Cousins right now.
Easy place to be. All right, what else?
More from Will here. This was interesting, I thought. He was asked about the players talking up in the locker room afterward. Like Monte said, he said like Monte was saying, a bunch of people got up and talked. Will Barton said, talking won't do anything at this point. He says like, look, the Warriors, they're just playing. They're not talking. So it seemed like Will was kind of disagreeing with what Monte said.
This is not sounding great.
No.
I mean,
Woo, boy.
listen, this was terrible.
That was.
This was terrible. Like, we're in the world of emotion right now. Like,
Yeah.
these are not going to be long lasting.
My
effects.
emotion's gone.
Well, we've talked it out.
They are the world of emotion.
We've talked it out.
Yeah,
like
we did a good job. Our talking really
I thought
made
so. Look at
progress.
me. Look at this smile on my face. I should be. Granted, I'm dead inside and I don't have any emotion
And
beyond
you
this
opened
smile.
the show with 4 consecutive F-bombs.
Yeah, let it go. I let it fly. Listen, let it all out. Everybody feeling a lot better right after that. Sometimes you just got to let it go, and that's what they're doing.
Strong
And I'm like,
agree. Strong
Listen,
agree.
they're emotional right now. They're going to fly home. They're going to soak their heads. They're going to come back. They're going to be like, look each other in the eye and
Soak
be
their
like,
heads.
yeah.
What is that?
Is that an expression?
Is
Yes.
that like you put your head in a tub?
When you soak something, you put it in water.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
But
like a cold compress, I guess?
cool.
I've never tried this. So like when you're frustrated,
Adam
if you're
famously loves cold showers. Every morning he takes a cold shower that he comes in and tells us about it because it gives you it allows you perspective.
It does. You have to embrace suffering in
it
life. You guys
removes
think
the
it's not a
emotion.
life philosophy. It
You
really
sort
is
of
a life
cool-
philosophy.
Yeah, you have a
It's not
hot
just
head and you
nug
soak
life.
it. You're apparently.
You gotta go cold. Hot shower. That's comfortable. Cold shower.
Point being, the emotion will cool and they'll be able to sort of like take stock. I didn't think that was such a difficult
He's
thing
like,
to
how
understand.
could this night get worse? Let's talk about Adam's cold shower.
Point being,
By the way, guys,
don't worry. all right?
Western Metal Arc. Singing a song.
All right, what else you got for us?
Can I ask
ahead.
you a question real quick? Is just like when we were down 3-1 to the Jazz or down 3-1 to the Clippers, do you remember like this tone coming out of the post game interviews?
Yes.
Okay.
Out of the
Like
post game
this-
interviews.
like-
no.
like this
Man.
level of, like,
Ozzy's
beat down,
bringing some
like-
great questioning here. No, this is a new challenge.
Yeah.
This is a new challenge.
I don't know, man. After the
From
Jazz
us.
series,
Yeah, from us,
Oh,
but not
yeah.
from the
the player.
players.
Like the players weren't doing.
The
this
players
stuff.
were like, we can do this, and this doesn't feel like they think they can do this.
all right, keep going.
So we also talked with Nikola Jokic tonight.
Man, I can't
He
wait for
was-
this one.
He was speaking about what he's most frustrated about. He said everything. He was asked about getting tossed from the game. He said, I'm not supposed to do that. I thought I got fouled in the moment because I heard the slap. That's why I reacted. He, the referee, said it's not a foul. That's his point of view, he said.
All right, that's kind of.
He was asked about what happened with him and Gary Payton. Yoke said, quote, he doesn't need to do that. I just reacted. No need to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Gary Payton knows that. He's not like, oh, my mistake. What a social grace I
I know.
Yeah, like, no,
Oh,
like,
I violated social more.
yeah, he's like, no, I know I'm not. That's why I did it because I don't have to, and I did it just to piss you off,
Yeah.
and it worked.
And then Steph got in his face. My God.
Then Steph got in his face and was. I mean, yeah, you're right. The Warriors are just sitting there like, come on, guys, you gotta grow up.
Yeah. Yoke said, look, hopefully we can find a better flow defensively and offensively. We had too many breakdowns. Sometimes we just score and they literally dribble and make a pull-up three. We know that's what they're going to do. We just got to be more
Man.
focused and get that flow back.
Will Barton had a really bad one of these. He's been like pointing, yelling at a lot of guys, but he had one where, Denver scored. Steph Curry walks up, and you saw, like I saw it from half court. You're like, somebody pick up Steph. Like that's Steph Curry. He has the ball in his hand. He's like walking to the 3-point line, and then he runs out of it, and then he looks around. It's like, why did nobody pick him up? I was like, hey, why didn't you pick him up? Yeah, tough one.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, Yoke said, look, I told the guys before game one, we're going to win together, we're going to lose together. In my opinion, I'm still with the guys. To me, we are not splintering.
Oh, love that, Yoke. Man, way to end us on some optimism, Jokic.
I love
There we
Jokic.
go.
I do too, man.
He's the best guy on earth.
He is the best guy
That's
on
the
earth.
positivity
But
we needed.
he can still be better.
Oh, my God.
All right, Wynn's got a long
he does have a long night, but I
was
also
gonna
want to
say
get
trip.
Oh, he does have a trip home. That's right. That's right. You're coming back. What's just your take on the Jokic ejection? I mean, to what extent do you hold that against him, and just kind of what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah. I mean, I hold it against him. It felt like to me he just kind of tapped out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, I know he was frustrated. I know he wasn't getting the foul calls he should have, but he's got to be the leader, man. He can't just be like, I'm done. You guys finish this off and, you hear the final buzzer sound and lose by 20. I'll be in the back. He can't do that. And it's like the technicals, the losing their composure, how weak they were mentally tonight and in game one. this is a veteran team. Like, this is a veteran team that's been through the battles, that's been through the wars, man. They've got to be mentally stronger. Like, they just can't let the Warriors walk all over them like they have physically and mentally. So I just don't think the Nuggets were tough enough tonight. Like, when shit starts going bad for them, they just give up. Like, that's what it looked like tonight. And they got to be better than that. Jokic and everybody else on the roster. The veterans, like, this is not a young team. Like, they should be better than that.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Harrison. Great job in the Bay. We can't wait for you to be back, and we got a couple days. We got a couple days to prepare for Game 3 that we hope will look a little bit different from this one. Good work out there.
Yeah. See you guys.
Let me know if you need brunch recommendations for tomorrow.
No, he's done. He's out. All right, that was Harrison Wynn. Let's get to the last super chats here so we can all go home and cry into our pillows. John says Malone would be happy to play at a 100 to 105 pace. They just aren't built to play Malone's style. I don't know.
Dude, everything seems bad.
Yeah, every does. It's
just like we're at the
one
point,
thing that is good right now.
I'm like, we're just not who we're intended to be.
Oh, I'm ready to take this one. If there needs to be a fall guy for the year, then who? There doesn't.
What about me?
That is a great take, bro.
Stan Kroenke.
Yeah, sure. We can all get behind that one.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Sure, why not?
All right, Hardwood Paroxysm says, love the Brendan take on them not quitting. Is this really Matt Moore?
I believe
can't
this
tell.
is Matt Moore.
Did he super chat us $20 that he agreed with Vogt? Hey,
To agree with
Matt,
me.
Matt, we love you.
I think that this is like an elite troll.
I know, like I can't actually. Is
Yeah,
he
what's
joking?
happening?
He's like
Is he
not really.
complimenting me?
He's laughing his ass off.
You know what, Matt? I love you too.
Matt the homie. Also, thanks for the $20. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
dude.
Hey,
Matt's anger about the playoff whistle has been like my favorite part of Twitter. Right? Like, just like we had the playoff whistle in November and haven't seen it since.
Richard says,
Demonetize Aaron Gordon.
Oh no!
"Wow,
that's tough.
How's
That's
it going?
upgrade.
How's your series going? All right.
man." You know, actually, real quick, I put out the I can't believe AG has been this bad tweet. I'll tell you what, I had no idea how many people hate Aaron Gordon. And it's like, and that thing went viral with just people being like, he saw you didn't, and it's not Nuggets fans.
Right,
it's like fans of other teams are like, I told you, I'm so glad he didn't come to New Orleans or
Yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
you're like, man, everybody hates this guy.
I don't hate him. I like him.
Christian says, currently on Wanna Woot Woot. Good feeling stuff.
Leading
By the way,
gummies,
wife
dude.
just had a second baby on Thursday. Hell yeah, Christian.
Let's go.
Congratulations, Big Papa.
Don't
God.
Big
give
Papa and Big Mama.
don't
Shouts to
give
Big
the
Mama. She
baby
did
any
all the work.
wanna.
Yeah, no.
Don't give the baby any of the wanna. Christian also says, talk about the fight. Love you guys. Well, we did. Still
There wasn't
appreciate
a ton
that.
of it.
Yeah. But Timo says, Warriors can be up 20, and Steve Kerr will call a timeout on a 6-0 Nuggets run. Mike Malone will let Warriors tie it up before he even flinches. All right. Thank you. I didn't have anything. Okay, I just don't have anything.
A man notorious for rage timeouts.
That's so true. We actually have a whole genre of timeout named after Michael Malone. Justin Teal says, no one brings up how the Nuggets are last in the league on loose balls. Lack of effort kills us. I didn't know that stat. It's a good stat. I mean, how is that a stat though? Like
I don't know
loose
if
balls?
that anecdotally it jives.
It does. Like honestly,
Certainly
it
feels
doesn't
right.
even
like
need to
it.
be looked
Yeah.
up. I will say there are some players on this roster, and this is what I mean about the toughness. Like there are some players in this roster that I have no hope in getting a 50-50 ball. Jeff Green.
Jeff Green.
I was just going to say,
Will Barton.
how is Jeff Green skated by so unscathed during this entire... This man is hiding in plain sight.
He really is.
hiding.
Well, that's because we can't blame it. He's the guy that's most elevated. Like he's like, this is not what I signed
I
up
grabbed
for.
4 rebounds.
He's like, I was going to take up skiing. I had like all these weekends planned for rest. They're playing me 30 minutes. What the hell is this shit? Horse shit.
I mean, it felt like that was like his regular season vibe, and then we've just been so smoked that like he was like, we're down 20. I'm not gonna bust it out now. You know, maybe if we,
Unreal.
Aaron says a pile of poop with a face.
Yeah.
That one I can't tell. Now they're getting so good I can't tell. Like that one could be a pile of poop with a face.
Did that say super sticker? Pile of poop with the face.
Is that a real super sticker? That's a real one.
Let's go.
There it is.
Is this a Warriors fan?
Will says, if Poole extends with the Warriors, I will lose my mind. I'm sorry, Nuggets Nation. Yeah, maybe he didn't realize this was a Nugget show. He tuned in. He's like, "Oh man, they are piling on Yoke." Yeah, we're clouding these guys. It's like, oh no,
This guy hates Jokic.
that's actually a Nugget show clanning
man.
on the Nuggets. That's how bad
my
we've
God.
been.
Warriors fans in the chat. Why don't you watch your own post-game show? That's right.
But
you don't
all-
have one.
But also that might be a Nuggets fan. We're not sure.
I know, but
in
I'm
which
just saying-
case, welcome. Stay with us. All right, next one. Hurricane Teabag says trade Jokic to a serious franchise and market. He deserves it.
Yeah. Great. That's a good, awesome. Dope.
People pay us for this shit. It's incredible.
I know.
Aaron
Thank
says,
you for that, cash.
chat, yo, WTF? Old man Jeff is useless, and Boogie probably told Barton he needs to play team ball, not forced hero ball. Yeah, Boogie
I'm
said
sure.
that.
Hey,
Demarcus-
hey, Thrill. I've
And
got
by
some,
the way, I'm
I've got
sick
some
of you
notes.
losing your cool.
You need to play team ball and not hero ball. He's like, I'll show you, Boogie. I'll show you.
Missed shot followed by turnover. Man, Barton is taking so. I swear to God, man. I wish I hated anything like people hate Barton.
I don't get it, man.
Everyone was bad tonight.
Exactly. And
Mine was okay.
honestly, on offense, he was fine. He's been terrible on
Yeah,
defense,
he can't
but
guard anybody anymore.
he's still probably our second best offensive player, which is not great.
The
But
Nuggets lost by 20, and we're getting clowned since the third quarter. And it's but if they didn't have Barton, they would have.
I know.
No, it would have been 40.
Remember when
I-
Barton
They would
was
have
the-
won by 30
I laughed at
points.
every Davon Reed comment tonight. I mean, it would be better, I suppose, than not having him. But I'm
Yeah.
you guys are watching this thinking, where's Davon Reed?
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know.
He's dropping 40, man. Obviously.
Timo says, by the way, love coach.
Okay.
I
The
feel
show
like that probably the show coach.
with Dauber.
I miss when we all watched the same sitcom.
Me
you know?
too. I know when there were
We
only
never
3 or
watched the
4
same show.
available.
Yeah, so we just had to watch Frasier.
Man, I'd watch some Coach right now with you, Dad.
Would you?
Maybe.
Man,
Let's
a little
go.
Frasier, a little Cheers. Mike says, "Cool. I've got no take on that.
That's a response. I'm not.
Cool.
We love you too.
Hold
Mike.
on. Cool. I've got no take on that. There's no way to read that.
He's trying to say, cool, I've got no take on that. He's drunk or
His
something.
response. His response.
Maybe
We
he
appreciate
responded
all
to
this.
an earlier super chat much earlier.
To be honest, I would love to be where Mike is right now.
Me too.
But we had to- we
super
gotta-
chatting people non-coherent things.
Oh, my God.
Incoherent?
I do gotta say, shout out Adam. The font is way smaller than I thought it would be.
people think I
This is what everyone says.
People think I can't read, or I read it like a 2-year-old
It
level.
would be very hard.
It's fuzzy
I'm
at best.
sounding out
It's fuzzy on a good day.
compound words and stuff. Fabian says Facu/Bones should get big minutes to add some life. Look,
Wouldn't
man.
hurt.
Here's what I'll say. I think Game 3 looks meaningfully different than Game 2
Has
from
to.
who plays and what Denver tries to do. I think there's big adjustments. I don't know that they work, but I think Denver does some swing for the fences things.
Is Jeff Green the one you take out, or who do you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Jeebus
Probably.
Creepers. He'd probably take himself out voluntarily.
Yeah. Treve says, epic moment tonight. TNT crew passionately argued for 5 minutes about how bad our D was. Close eye on GM off-season moves. Thanks for all the vibes, fellas.
I wish we were watching the altitude.
The D is bad.
The defense is really bad. Denver's going to have to improve there. There's just no question about it. Nicholas says, "Oh, how I long for the good old days of purgatory." Jesus Christ. It's so true. We woke up at the playoffs in goddamn hell. It's so true.
This is still purgatory.
Let me ask this, though. Here's an important question, then we can get out of here. Where would Murray rank as a defender amongst the available guards Denver has right now, if you just put him in? I mean, obviously not this hobbled version, the fully healthy version of him. Which guard defenders are better than him right now?
Probably Will Barton. Probably Austin Rivers.
Will Barton is a better defender than
No.
Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray is a terrible defender.
Strong disagree.
He's been it for most of
Like
his
like
career.
No,
like
I
Spurs
think
series.
I think he's in the
Spurs
bu-
series was bad, but
I think
ever
he-
since
yeah,
then,
yeah. I mean, he was 22
Yeah,
years old or
like, he's
21
I mean,
years
it
old.
depends. Like, I don't know.
I think he's a good, but not great defender. He's not a lockdown, but I think he would probably be number 2 behind Austin Rivers.
Possible.
And I think there's a difference between the on ball and the off ball, and like where Thrill really seems bad is the off ball and the communication stuff. He just doesn't seem to speak up at all, and like Murray, he's not the best on ball, but like you can trust him on ball, and you can also trust him off ball, and like Thrill just gets cooked as soon as he's like somebody hits him with the screen.
Yeah. All right. Any other final thoughts before we get out of here, guys? Don't all speak at once.
It's not over till it's over.
There we go.
Let me put it this way. I'm very curious. I love what Monte said. Like getting swept 2 years in a row would be embarrassing. It would for all of us included.
That's what happened to the Blazers, man. That's like you remember like what happened. The Warriors did it to him a bunch, and then the Pels did it to him right after that, and like that was kind of the end of the franchise until I guess they had kind of the fake run against us.
Well, there you go. We might lose the
Wow.
franchise. Wow. That's mistakes
What
were
a
just
great
this year,
ending.
but it sounds
Quite
like
a bit.
moved
Wow.
to Seattle or
Holy
something.
cow.
Shit.
I will say, shout out to everybody that's stuck with us this whole time. The number of
yeah.
super chats is jarring in relation to the game we just
Yeah.
watched. We suffer together, Adam will tell you, but we also can find some solace with each other. We're going to get the leading gummy, me and you, and I want to have 25% off. We're going to do it, guys. Come on.
The only true currency in this. Damn it, I'm going to screw up this. In this cold world is what 2 people share when they're complete and total losers.
That's right.
That's what we all did today. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 2:30.